For some unknown reason, I don't know how or why. Maybe I've just woken up today and I've got better vision, but this all looks so much better today. Like, there's no blurriness up here, which is really good. But yeah, who knew that could be a thing? Because it wasn't me. Right, I've got the right glasses on. I have a cup of coffee right here, ready to attack the painting viciously and with intent. Right, I'm going to use a different brush today, because I've got a lot of number 2 there to get done. Yeah, I'm kind of thinking maybe I could thin that down a little bit. And I'm going to do it just quickly. I'm going to be using a different brush, like I said. Because the area that I'm doing now is a bit bigger. And incidentally, I'm actually using the paintbrushes that come with the kit for this bit, just to show that they are perfectly serviceable. Except for when you do that. I'll go over that with a bit of black. Yeah, well, I say they're serviceable, but they're not as controllable as the other ones. I might actually have to go back to the other one here, because I've made 3 mistakes already, which isn't like me. And I guess it's also personal preference which brushes that you use. I guess you just, like anything, you just get used to something and the way it works. But I really wanted it so I could do this. So I'm not going to be particularly treating the brush well, just to get big areas covered. Yeah, I'm making lots of mistakes there. Could that just be me though? Possibly. Just slow it down a bit. This one will be in there. The flow agent that I put in this is definitely helping loads. Speeds up the process. You know, like people turn around and they say, oh, you got to do this and you got to do that, it'll change your life and whatever else. Well, this, I'm not saying that it's going to be life changing for anybody, but this stuff at the very least I can confirm definitely works. And you don't really use that much of it, so it's pretty good value for money as well. I had a pretty good day yesterday, to be perfectly honest with you. I did a lot of video editing because I've kind of been putting that off for a while because of not feeling particularly great. But yesterday I just decided like it wasn't a fantastic day for how I was feeling, but it wasn't also the worst day. So I decided to just spend the day catching up on stuff that I have to do, making thumbnails and you know, just editing and whatever else, uploading. So I did that for the majority of the day, and then my wife actually suggested that we play Scrabble, and then she come upstairs with our Scrabble board. She was at one end of the bed and I was laying in the other, and we played Scrabble for, I think it was about 2 hours. One, of course, because, you know, that was never going to be in question. And we had a bottle of port. Well, I say we had a bottle of port. My wife had a glass, and then I'm pretty sure what had happened is we'd left the lid off, or we'd left the lid off for a long enough time for the majority of the bottle to evaporate through natural causes. But when I woke up this morning, there was no port left in the bottle, and she only had one glass. So, you know, there was that. But it was a really nice night. I actually thoroughly enjoyed it. And then we was trying to watch I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here. And, you know, I'm always on here and I come up with all these ideas of stuff that people should do, like phone somebody who you haven't spoken to for ages and blah, blah, blah. And then I always turn around and say, I'm not trying to push my opinions or whatever else on anybody else. All right. Except for this. Nigel Farage is not a celebrity. Okay. Why is he in there? And I found out this morning that he is one of the highest paid people in I'm a Celebrity. Of 1.5 million he's getting for this. And I guarantee you now, he's going to be Mr. Nice Guy. He's going to, oh, look at me. I'm so great. I could do this. And I guarantee there's going to be loads of stuff coming up about politics and stuff and what he would do and what he wouldn't do. And I would imagine that the whole program is going to be scripted around making him look his best self. Please don't fall for it. And I'm not going to tell you what he's done in the past and what's wrong and whatever else. You've got Google in front of you. Just educate yourself on the man. That's all I ask. Please. But that's enough of that. I do a lot of political speaking on here. Speaking my mind and whatever else. And that's not what we're all here for. Some days I can't help it, you know, get that grumpy old get off my lawn kind of attitude. But today is not going to be one of those days. My intention is to be continue my playthrough on Batman Arkham Asylum today. I don't know how far I'm going to get in that, but I'm going to continue on. Of course, all dependent on how I feel. I put a message out on YouTube the other day, yesterday I think it was, because I just went through my videos that I've got on YouTube, and like I'm no big YouTuber, and as I've always told myself, I never expect to be, but I was looking at how many people have viewed my videos and left likes and comments and stuff, and it was really heartwarming to see it. And they're not in the thousands, they're in the hundreds. So, you know, like I said, I know I'm not big by any stretch of imagination, but the fact that anybody goes and watches them in the first place, to me, is just such a buzz. And I just wanted to thank everybody for doing it, because, you know, appreciation's free, right? It's just a shame that they don't tell you who's done it, because then you could kind of tailor it a little bit more personally. But I suppose there will be some kind of data protection there for that. So I understand it. I just wish there was a way of being able to thank the people themselves. Fortunately, today is one of those days where I don't actually feel too bad. Strange. Oh, hello, Offspring. Hydrate. Whoa, Stream Elements, you suck. Is it not working again? Internal server. Well, I can tell you now, the annoying thing, Offspring, is that I actually got it all working today. I've figured out what it was, why you all can't hear it.
You look a bit parched. Why don't you take a drink?
Now you heard that, right? Works now? Excellent. Yeah. So I got that working this morning. Thank you very much. I should just drink some coffee. Yeah. And I am a nice guy. I have actually turned back on the raffles. However, I have only turned on the 1,000 point raffle, not the 5,000 point one. And there may or may not be a bit of a longer cooldown between the raffles that you can do. Maybe. I mean, I don't know. You know, what do I know? So I believe compromises were made for the betterment of the community. Sure. Yeah. How you been anyway, buddy? You having a good day? Yeah, I'm going to quickly go back to my other brush thing, because although these brushes are serviceable, I actually find them uncomfortable. As ridiculous as that sounds, did you get a comfortable brush? Nice. Bit of you time. So what are you thinking? I'm guessing you've got the new COD, right? Ooh, what are your thoughts on the new COD? Any good? Or more specifically, any different really than the others? Don't get me wrong, I'm not stupid. I know like an FPS has a general gameplay loop, so I'm not expecting it to be a completely different game, but you know what I mean. Oh, you ain't paying for that? Oh, good. Good. Because I see lots of streamers playing it, and all of their thumbnails, which are just meant to impress, and this particular iteration of COD is going to be the best thing you've ever played, and it's like, it's just COD, mate, just like the other 10,000 ones. Of course, it's a bit of an exaggeration, but you get what I'm going from. Only decent thing about the new one is slide cancel back in zombies. Yeah, that's cool. The zombies were such a huge hit for COD. I'm glad they brought it back. I still say the best COD game was World at War. With the bouncing Bettys that you could put down all over the place that nobody ever kept an eye on the floor for. Me and my friends and my wife, we used to have hours of fun on that. And there was a map where you had to walk in, and as soon as you walked in, you had to go in this little staircase and upstairs. And the problem is that was like the best spot to shoot people from, so you were always going up there. So you were pretty much guaranteed a nice bouncing Betty at the bottom, and you were going to get another kill. And then everybody that doesn't is moaning because they should just know it's there, but they never bother to check because they're just trying to get up to this good spot. It was epic. At least I thought it was anyway. I'm a little bit nervous today about playing Batman because Honestly, I don't remember what I played the other day. I suppose I could go back and watch my videos, but I probably should have done that before I started painting. And then, so unless I take a break afterwards, we're just gonna jump straight into it, I guess. Right. I think let's change the brush because go back to Old Faithful. I'm sorry, but I don't know. I'm obviously getting older, which is, chronologically correct, but I'm obviously getting older in my ways because it's like I just want to stick with what I like. It's not a bad thing, I guess. See, I know how this brush acts, even though it's not like a new brush. I know how to control it. I can't explain it. Maybe other proper artists out there could offer up a better explanation, but maybe it's just familiarity as well. Who knows? I'm looking forward to, and also a little bit concerned about doing the stuff at the top of the page here. Not the page, the canvas, because of my back and moving my arms out so far. But I just kind of did a little test, and in actual fact, if I kind of shuffle closer, my arms don't really reach out any further than they do right now, which isn't a lot, because I have a problem with my arms. Like, I can barely put them over my head the majority of the time. And it's like every now and again, I kind of get the ability of sitting in the right position to be able to lift my arms over my head to have a stretch, because sometimes stretching just happens without your control, especially if you're not focused on what you're doing. And but that's kind of one of the nicest things about taking painkillers. There we go. Oh, there's a number 2 up there. Maybe I should get some of these number 2s done. They gotta get done anyway. This one here. Oh, we've reached the do zone. I apologise in advance, everyone. I think today as well I'm going to watch Hunger Games 2, because me and my wife, we watched Hunger Games the other day. I haven't watched it. I think I've only ever watched Hunger Games once in my life, and it's such a great film, and it really got me. And it's strange because normally I watch films like a few times because of missing stuff on the first watch through, and then like with Avengers and superhero ones, I just watch them all the time because I'm really into that. But yeah, I might watch number 2 today, to be honest. And also, I'd like to take advantage of the fact that I actually don't feel too bad today. More coffee. That's going to be a black line all the way down to there. Okay. I see you. Yeah, this is the only awkward part for me to do because my microphone is the end of my paintbrush is literally touching my microphone right now. And I know that this particular video is going to sound great. There's going to be no me going in and out of or being quiet. It's going to be loud. You're going to be able to hear me even when I kind of talk really quietly, because right now I'm properly in the zone for the mic, which is something I would kind of like to get sorted out for the other side. But the issue is is I could turn the gain up on the microphone so that you could hear me louder when I'm over the other side of the painting, which isn't particularly far. But then you'll start to hear some background noise from my family that may or may not be walking around or doing stuff. So I try and get the best mix of stuff that's not going to really interfere with you guys watching and hearing things you don't necessarily need or want to hear. I know some of you are saying, well, why don't you just turn it off? Because we don't need or want to hear you. But to that I say tough. Did that work for you? Yeah, it did, didn't it? There you go. Yeah. See, I do listen. I am a nice guy, see? Even points out, you know, it may or may not be on like a 45-minute timer before you can actually do the next one, but you know, that's irrelevant, right? I listened. While it's only me, I might as well farm them. Yes, exactly. Is it only you in here, is it? Wow. See, even though now I actually know that, I'm not sat here like, oh, well, what's the point? And I'm still just as happy as I was before I didn't know. I'm actually glad you told me now, because like now it kind of proves what I've been saying all along. I just do this for a bit of company. Someone to talk to, someone to just, you know, have a laugh with, or just somebody to listen to my endless supply of waffling crap. Yeah. As far as I can see, it doesn't bother you. You're like me. Now, it doesn't matter if you have 0 views or 1,000 viewers. You're still going to be there no matter what. Yeah, exactly. And I think this is, I was saying this the other day, like with new people that are coming in, especially young people, they come in and they want to start streaming, and then they don't get like the instant gratification, and it's like, well, just do it because you enjoy it then. Stop trying to become famous. If it's meant to be, it's meant to be. And you know what? Because obviously I get to see like a stream report at the end of my streams, and I get between, I don't know, I suppose averagely I could honestly turn around and say I get about 15 views, 15 viewers. But you know what's nice? I know all of those viewers, and I know bits about them all. I look forward to it. Look forward to seeing them and talking to them. Even you. And I know that's a stretch to believe. I get it. But, you know. It is what it is. Exactly. Yeah, shit doesn't happen overnight. Yeah, I get them too. Unless it's me and you. And you forget. Well, yeah, exactly. Yeah. You know. Mate, you'd be surprised the things that I genuinely do forget. In actual fact, last night was a prime example, right? My missus has just put loads of twinkly bleeding lights at the end of the bed, because cutely she said to me, she said, you need cheering up. She said, twinkly lights cheer me up, so I'm putting them in here whether you like it or not. I was like, okay, all right, whatever. And as much as I hate to admit this, they do actually look quite nice, and it did actually cheer me up a little bit. But the fact that it's only you and me in here means that she doesn't know that. But anyway, she needed some batteries for the lights, because we got some heart-shaped lights above the bed, and she needed 3 AA batteries. Yeah, 3 AA batteries. So I was on my computer and I opened up Google, right, to just go into Amazon to buy batteries. And I opened up Google and then I went and did something completely different, right? Bearing in mind, the only reason I was doing it was to get these batteries. And then I opened up Google and then I looked at my missus and I said, what am I actually doing? I don't actually remember. And then all of a sudden I remembered that I was meant to be looking for batteries about 2 or 3 minutes afterwards. And it just feels scary. It's like I'm losing my bleeding mind. And the thing is that I'm only pointing that one out because, like, you know, you could say that's old age and whatever else. I get it. But this is happening a lot. Like, quite a few times throughout the day. Like, it's not just an isolated incident or it's like just, you know, once in a while thing. It's an everyday thing. And to me, it feels like it's getting worse. But it is what it is. And it is what it is. Kids, the joys of getting old. I mean, we've all had those ideas where when you walked into a room, it's like, what the bloody hell am I doing in here? And then all of a sudden you remember. I get that, but this feels to me like it's something different. Six there. But there's nothing I can do about it. There's no point worrying about it, really. I'll drink some coffee. That's got to help, right? Just think, kids, this is what all of you have to come. Yes, exactly. Isn't it funny? You know, when we were kids, did you ever think about older generations and how they would feel and whatever else? You never give them a second thought. You never thought about growing up. You wanted to grow up because you wanted to be able to do all the adult stuff, but you didn't want to look, see, or know anything about what being an adult actually entails, because you just wanted to do all the stuff that you're always told you can't do because you're too young. That reminds me, I must do my ducking on my microphone for when I'm playing a game, because Batman is really bad for audio, and my ducking doesn't seem to be working, even though it's actually on. So I think I've got to make it. I think they must have done an update with OBS, and now I've probably got to redo it. What's this? Almost 4K steps today so far. Not bad considering I've done. Nice. Well done. I think I'm on about. I think it's probably 13 steps from the bedroom. So, I went to the toilet. So it's probably. I'm probably on 30. Let's call it 30 steps. We'll round it up to 30 steps.